Imagine you are standing in front of the chilled aisle in a British supermarket. Cold air hits your hands as your eyes scan dozens, perhaps hundreds, of gold foil blocks and colorful plastic tubs. They are all placed together on the exact same shelf, all using marketing language that evokes richness, melting perfection, and the ideal breakfast. In your left hand, you pick up a block of Tesco own-label butter. In your right hand, you hold a famous tub named, "I can't believe it's not butter." On the surface, both seem to serve the exact same purpose. But the truth hidden behind these labels will startle you. Legally, only one of these two products is actually butter. The Tesco block proudly declares it contains over 80% pure dairy milk fat. Meanwhile, that glossy tub is, in reality, just a 39% vegetable fat spread. And if you read the ingredient list closely, the heaviest component, sitting right at the #1 spot, is simply water. The biggest surprise doesn't end there. That block of pure dairy butter actually costs significantly less per kilogram than many of those premium name spreads. So when you reach the till, are you buying a genuine block of real butter? Or are you just paying for a tub of watered-down vegetable oil that has been perfectly disguised? Welcome back to Basket Verdict, where we strip away the food industry's illusions and hand the power back to the consumer. Today, we are launching a full investigation into 11 of the most popular butter and spread brands dominating supermarket shelves. By the end of this journey, you will know exactly which 5 products are genuine, pure butter, which spreads actually offer a legitimate benefit for a dietary need, and which names are quietly emptying your wallet through clever packaging tactics. But before we unmask each brand, we need to set the rules straight. Under strict UK legislation, for a product to legally print the word butter on its packaging, it must possess a milk fat content of between 80% and just under 90%. Remember this golden rule. Ingredient lists are always ordered by decreasing weight. So, if a buttery product lists water as its first ingredient, you are essentially buying whipped water and oil. We also want to stress that this is a hunt for real butter, not a medical verdict. Pure, natural dairy butter carries around 52 to 57 grams of saturated fat per 100 grams, far exceeding the 5-gram threshold that the NHS classifies as high. The fact that some vegetable fat spreads contain significantly less saturated fat is a genuine nutritional advantage for anyone needing to protect their heart. However, no matter how healthy they might be, we must call them what they are. They are spreads, not butter. And in this race, we are judging purely on the standard shelf price per kilogram, absolutely refusing to be manipulated by loyalty cards or flash sales. Let's begin by exposing 6 products that might look like butter and even taste somewhat reminiscent of it, but will never, ever make it onto the real butter list. Sitting at the top of this group is Utterly Butterly. With its incredibly cheap price tag, just £1.50 for a massive 500-gram tub, it attracts millions of families looking to save money. The word butterly in its name is a brilliant psychological bait, tricking you into believing that cow's milk is the soul of the product. But look at the tiny legal description on the tub. 42% vegetable fat spread. Its first ingredient is water, immediately followed by rapeseed, palm, and sunflower oils. Even though the manufacturer has cleverly blended in a little buttermilk to create the illusion of a dairy flavor, what you are spreading on your morning toast is essentially a vegetable oil emulsion. It is very cheap, highly spreadable, and the saturated fat is only 11.6 grams, but it is absolutely not butter. An even more straightforward name is I Can't Believe It's Not Butter. Right from the title, it declares it isn't butter. Priced at £1.60 for 450 grams, this is a 39% vegetable fat spread, and naturally, the leading ingredient is water. Its brightest selling point is that the saturated fat is compressed down to just 10 grams per 100 grams, a staggering 81% lower than real butter. If your doctor has told you to cut down on saturated fats, and you need a soft spread that is ready to use straight from the fridge, This is a highly effective, vegan-friendly option. But if you are planning to bake a batch of rich French butter biscuits, this water-heavy texture will completely ruin your recipe. Flora Buttery uses a different linguistic tactic. The massive word buttery on the packaging is purely an adjective describing the flavor, not the legal identity of the product. Sold at a standard price of £2.75 for 450 grams, Flora is a 75% vegetable fat spread, completely free from dairy and palm oil. With such a high fat content, it performs in a hot pan and in the oven much more like real butter than the lighter spreads do. Holding 28 grams of saturated fat, it hovers somewhere in the boundary between pure dairy butter and vegan spreads. It is an excellent dairy-free alternative, but to reiterate, it is not butter. Clover Original, at £2.60 for 500 grams, plays a different gamble. They use 20% real buttermilk to deliver an authentic dairy taste designed to win over your palate. Yet the structural core of this tub remains a 63% fat blend, primarily extracted from palm and rapeseed oils. The saturated fat stops at 19.1 grams. It is versatile, its flavor is highly convincing, and it spreads effortlessly onto hot toast, but the legal truth remains unchanged. It is a vegetable fat spread with added dairy flavoring. But the absolute peak of disguise in this category has to be Elmlea creamy and buttery salted blended butter. Unlike the plastic tubs that are clearly spreads, Elmlea is molded into a rectangular block and wrapped in foil exactly like a traditional block of pure butter. Your brain sees it, immediately stamps it as real butter, and you happily pay £1.95 for this 250-gram block. But when you flip to the back, the truth spills out. Its official description is a blended spread containing 71% vegetable fat and a mere 8% milk fat. Even though they emphasize that the recipe includes 10% real butter for flavor, it entirely fails to reach the 80% milk fat threshold required to be called butter. This packaging design is a masterpiece of misdirection for any rushed shopper. The final product eliminated from our top 5 is another shock, because it actually is pure butter. Président slightly salted butter. This 250-gram French block proudly boasts 81% milk fat, a flawless texture, and an impeccable flavor. But the barrier that gets it eliminated is its extortionate price. £3.65, equivalent to £14.60 per kilogram. It is the most expensive block in our entire dataset. Unless you are a pastry chef needing to bake the perfect croissant and can truly appreciate the subtle, layered flavors of Normandy, this price tag is an unjustifiable waste of money for a family's daily breakfast toast. Moving past these 6 names, the marketing fog begins to clear. You will have realized that a product's placement in the fridge does not dictate its nature. Supermarkets deliberately mix pure butter, blended spreads, and vegetable margarines together to blur the lines. Words like buttery or images of lush green pastures are just the brushstrokes of a marketing department. The only true power lies in the tiny print on the back of the packaging. So, if your ultimate goal is to find a 100% pure, unadulterated block of cow's milk butter, which 5 options perfectly deliver on both quality and economic value? Opening our golden list in 5th place is Lurpak slightly salted butter, the finest lower salt cultured butter. It wins by managing to keep its salt content lower than the rest of the salted butter pack, at just 1.2 grams per 100 grams. Lurpak's formula is absolute elegance. Butter, lactic culture, and a touch of salt, pushing the fat content above the 80% minimum. Its only drawback is its temperamental pricing. At a standard price of £2.80 for a small 200-gram block, that's £14 a kilo, it is unreasonably expensive. Lurpak only really becomes a bargain when supermarkets run deep club card discounts down to £1.95. And remember carefully, we are talking about the foil block, absolutely not the plastic Lurpak spreadable tub, which has been diluted with vegetable oil. In 4th place, carrying the pride of lush green pastures, is Kerrygold Pure Irish Salted Butter. At £2.65 for 200 grams, Kerrygold sells you the clearest and most romantic origin story. They promise milk from grass-fed cows roaming freely in Ireland, creating a block that needs no artificial colors, just pure butter and 1.8% salt. The price of £13.25 per kilogram is quite premium, and the 1.8 grams of salt puts it at the higher end of the scale. When you choose Kerrygold, you aren't just buying butter. You are paying a hefty surcharge for that grass-fed certification and its prestigious geographical origin. Stepping into third place is Country Life British Salted Block Butter, the best choice for domestic provenance and farm assurance. This 200-gram block sells for £2.50. Its strength lies in using 100% British milk and proudly bearing the rigorous Red Tractor certification badge. At £12.50 a kilogram, this is the most affordable standard-priced British branded butter on our list. Even though the 1.8 grams of salt and 54 grams of saturated fat demand some moderation in your diet, Country Life's transparency regarding its origins provides a solid foundation of trust for the consumer. The runner-up position belongs to a reliable giant, Anchor Salted Butter. Competing fiercely with Country Life, Anchor prices its 200-gram block at £2.60. The reason it takes the silver medal is due to a near-perfect balance. It uses high-quality British cream, is manufactured directly in Westbury, and boasts an ultra-minimalist ingredient list of just butter and 1.7% salt. It slightly edges out Country Life, thanks to marginally better controlled salt and saturated fat levels. This is an outstandingly versatile salted block, performing perfectly whether you are spreading it on toast or cooking at high temperatures, and it freezes exceptionally well without compromising its texture. But the champion, the absolute king of core value, is an unpretentious product: Tesco British Salted Block Butter. Why does a supermarket own label block stand tall and defeat the most formidable heritage brands? The answer lies in its unbeatable value. It costs just £1.99 for a large 250-gram block. You heard that right. That equates to an astonishing £7.96 per kilogram. This is a price so remarkably low that premium brands simply cannot find a way to compete. Despite that budget price tag, Tesco perfectly and strictly meets the definition of real butter with over 80% milk fat, uses 100% British milk, and features a brilliantly clean ingredient list of just butter and 1.5% salt. It doesn't spin romantic marketing tales, nor does it come in expensive embossed packaging. It simply provides an honest, high-quality, pure dairy butter at a budget-rescuing price for every household. This investigation has handed you a clear shopping map. The final decision rests on your own priorities. If you want real butter with unbeatable economic value, pick up Tesco. If you are looking for a comprehensive and trusted British brand, Anchor is the name for you. Choose Country Life if you need the reassurance of the Red Tractor, Kerrygold for the Irish pasture heritage, and Lurpak if you want to enjoy cultured butter with the lowest salt content. Conversely, if your medical profile requires you to eliminate saturated fats, I Can't Believe It's Not Butter is a highly logical, budget-friendly, plant-based alternative. The next time you reach into the supermarket fridge, take exactly 3 seconds to master the game. Read the official product description, check whether the fat source is dairy or vegetable oil, and always compare the saturated fat alongside the standard price per kilogram. Beautiful words like buttery or creamy are just describing a flavor experience. The cold, hard ingredient panel on the back is the only thing that tells you what you are actually spending your money on. Don't keep this a secret. Share this video with loved ones who always grab their butter out of habit without ever flipping it over to check the truth. And make sure to subscribe to Basket Verdict to continue joining us as we strip away the food industry's illusions in our upcoming videos.